Hey everyone, this is Robert, and thank you for tuning in to Station Square. I hope everybody is doing, a-okay. And I know we're just now starting to get into I'm like, I literally just thought of it. It's like the middle of May, and we're just starting to get into the summer, and it's gonna be pretty scorching. Like right now over here in SoCal, we're getting even more, humid weather, which is always a good thing, but no, not really, but regardless, thank you for tuning into the show. We have a I know I say this for every guest, very special guest of the quarter, special guest, but we have a pretty big special guest here. This is Alex Zahara. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode. And yeah, really excited that, we finally, after some coordination, we are doing this thing today. So how are you
Cool.
doing, my good sir?
Good. Robert, yourself?
Yep, I'm doing pretty well. I mean, like, look, today's Monday, so might as well just start this off with a bang,
Yeah.
and just really start my often hectic work week. And I
Okay.
think that's the
Well,
same for all of us, really.
yeah. Well, it's actually a holiday up in Canada. It's Victoria Day. So what most people have the day off, like after Queen Victoria.
Oh,
Because
lucky.
we,
Yeah.
we were still part of the British Empire, back in the day, but now we're part of the Commonwealth. So there you are. But I was just recently down in Southern California for the premiere. And also my wife and I went to Disneyland for 2 days. She'd never been. And it was the hottest 2 days on record that Disney had in May. It was like 90, 98
No, it
one.
was like 100. I think it
Oh, there
really
you
was
go.
100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy. I just was like, oh man. Yeah, we had those. It's funny, I touched my neck. We had those cooling, towels. You can get those little chamois you put on your neck, and God,
Oh,
had those on all the time. And
okay.
but we had these Tilly hats that are meant for Vancouver weather, where it's cold and rainy. So they were too much, and we were like sweating like crazy. We went and bought like sort of like adventure Indiana Jones Disneyland hats, and it had little Mickey on the side, very subtle little Mickey. But yeah, it was quite warm. Put it that way.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. So you know how the weather is like over here, like in LA,
Yeah.
OC. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, where I grew up in northern Alberta when I was a kid, I kid you not, talk about the disparity of temperatures. Uh, the coldest weather I personally have ever been in is minus 65 Fahrenheit.
Wow.
That was chilly, put it that way. And we had it was way back in the 70s, and we had an outdoor biffy, as they say, an outdoor like outhouse, And can you imagine I was 4 years old and mom's like, go to the bathroom. I don't want to go. You gotta go. I don't want to go.
Yeah, it's like over here in California, we just say, "Oh my God, it gets really cold and really hot," but it's like it's nothing if you've been to like Canada or Alaska or all these
Yeah.
other places. Yeah, because I've even been to like because some of my family is like was based in like Arkansas, like in the South area, New York, and they say that this weather, California, is nothing compared to how it is out there.
There
Like
you
when it's
go.
cold, it's chilly, and when it's hot, it's like you're in an oven. Let's just put it like that.
Well, I mean, we're talking about the weather, forgive me, but
I know, yeah,
one
yeah,
year, my
yeah.
mother recalls a time in the 60s where it was like 35 below or so, and they were at this dance on New Year's, and then it went to like 35 above. They had what's called a Chinook, and this big
Mm.
swath of warm air came in. So literally, like everybody was in overcoats and stuff, but at the end of the thing, they were in shirt sleeves, like taking their jackets off in like just a matter of a few hours. It was just crazy. So, yeah.
Yeah,
There you go. Okay, enough about the weather.
yeah.
Let's talk
Look at
about.
us just talking about movies.
Oscar
I
Wilde said. Oscar Wilde said the most banal people talk about the weather. So there we are. We got it out of the way. Our banality is gone, and we will move on to bigger and better things. I mean, come on. I'm wearing a Christopher Walken T-shirt.
I mean,
You're
come
wearing
on.
an LA Comic Con T-shirt. Come on, show us your T-shirt. Let's go. There you go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Also
we're not
unintentionally.
banal people.
Yeah. Also the colors. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that June is coming up, so yeah. There you go.
Anyway.
Um, But yeah, I swear this always happens. We would just discuss weather and then we would just kind of trail off topic for like 5 minutes and then actually get to the real question. It always happens. This is what happens when you have an unscripted, impromptu
We're
podcast.
humans.
But
We're humans.
hey, that makes the best, gives us good material. So yeah, like movies. Okay, so yeah, because you've been in the business for a while. So I just wanted
Close
to,
to 30 years.
because oh, I'm sorry.
Close to
Sorry, kind
30
of cut.
years.
Yeah, so in your 30 years of being in the business, like what is something that, you're learning something new? Like, because I know since you've been in the industry for a while, I mean, I know there's something that you're learning new about the business every single day, even
Yeah.
today as we're still, you know,
Yeah.
part of the industry. So
Well,
what's something that you're learning? Like,
well, here's a new thing with all the interviews and stuff I'm doing too, like the publicity
yeah.
and for Final Destination Bloodlines. Like I've been in some popular films before. I was in like the 13th Warrior years ago with Antonio Banderas, Omar Sharif. I was in 2012, but this is a bigger part, and there's a lot more involved in terms of like the publicity of it all, the promotions of it, like that side of things. I'm not doing around doing the press junket everywhere with the big affiliates and all that, but he's watching it and seeing these younger guys go through that, and me doing some of it. It's a fascinating thing because it is a business. It's a business of entertainment, whether it's comedy, drama, horror, whatever. But there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you just don't know about that I'm starting to see. Like the Warner Brothers publicity team did an incredible job with the promotion of this movie, like unbelievable. They did a false romantic comedy movie. They pretended it was like set in the 60s with the like because part of the Final Destination you see it's set back in the 60s, and they did a trick thing on Mother's Day, and they had all these people who knew what they were doing trick their mothers into, I should say trick, why am I quoting, air quoting, they did trick their mothers into going to a Mother's Day rom-com, and then filmed them from the audience. They took video footage of the audience of these mothers and sons and daughters on Mother's Day what watching Final Destination 6, and the mother's reactions all like wow, wow, oh my God, like it was hilarious, and they everybody was a good sport about it, so it was good. But yeah, they did that, and then they've had all over the world they've had like these fake logging trucks going around with logs on them. Final Destination because of the infamous death scene and the log smashing the policeman's face in number two. Anyway, they've done crazy amounts of promotions for this, like just things you would never think of. In LA, there was a billboard, at least one, set up with Final Destination Bloodlines, and it looks like the workers that are putting it up have fallen or are in mid-fall, like they're falling off the billboard. It's they're dummies. It's amazing. So all that promotion and all that side of it, I've never really been part of. I mean, on a small scale, promoting my own films that I've done, like I've produced a feature and a few small films directed, but this is like astronomically huge.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same as like, because I do voiceovers and Um, I did take classes for like on camera and acting and stuff, but it's just something new that I'm just kind of learning when it comes to, I mean, especially because we're coming out of this from a, I don't know if I can say post-pandemic because we kind of technically are still in a pandemic, but we're coming
Yeah.
coming out of like a post-lockdown world now,
Right.
let's just say
Yeah.
that. And we're
Yeah.
just kind of learning a lot about like technology, AI and stuff. So it's just kind of like it's a whole different can of worms that, we can discuss on a different episode in and of itself. But I'm just saying, like, my point is there's a lot new technology, a lot new advancements, like a lot of just new stuff that is just being developed, every single day. Like there's something new that we always learn. I see us as like students, like we never stop learning, we never stop um, you know,
Yeah.
learning a lot about this, what goes on with like casting, the industry, stuff like that. And it's just something that makes it really fun because like if we're not students every single day, then
Yeah. Well,
where's the fun?
Well, I always look at myself as I always said I'm a journeyman actor. I'm always working, always learning while I work
Yeah.
as well. And I said that I would always keep an open mind and be like learn as I go along. And there's lots of stuff you learn as you go along, technique and different things, aspects of camera and camera ratio and like just subtle ways of filming stuff. We're at the Warner Brothers studio tour, and they had like because New Line Cinemas has their offices there too. They're part of I guess a parent company or whatever. But they had a Hobbit display, like for Lord of the Rings, and they had like the forced perspective where they had like Gandalf sitting up front, and then like little or sorry up front close to you, so he looked enormous, right? And then like Bilbo, not Bilbo, but yeah, Bilbo or Frodo sitting at the same table looking like tiny. So they had these forced perspective like this, right? Whereas if you move it like that, suddenly Bilbo would be huge and Gandalf would be small. And but that's just it. Like even the camera tricks, the in camera tricks that they do with that to make it work. I just listened to the Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings, the making of the Lord of the Rings, and just the stuff they went through was incredible, and the technological innovations they did. It's just amazing. The stuff that they have learned to come up with. Even you go back to like Citizen Kane with Greg Toland, the cinematographer. Like they created lenses, special lenses to shoot that movie, and even they dug down into the stage, like they chiseled through the cement of the floor of the stage and shot upward at really harsh angles that they've never done before. And there's a great scene in it where the camera's moving up over a rainy rooftop of this nightclub, and it passes through the sign or the window going into the nightclub, like the skylight, and there's a flash of lightning, and of course that allows them to go through. Like just the technological advancements are amazing. I'm a little worried about AI, frankly. It's a little scary. Uh, I know people that work in the gaming industry, and good luck for actors because they want to, yeah, exactly. They want to replace us. They just want to, they don't. Here's the thing. I look at, like, why do we watch movies? Why do we go to plays or listen to music and play games? Hopefully, same the reason, but to connect, like to connect on some sort of human level. And when we watch films, we live vicariously through those characters. Then we're transported into that world, and we share another human's experience. We're watching Ozark right now. I haven't watched Ozark yet, the TV series. Oh my God, is it good? Like it's just like we're on edge. Like there was a scene yesterday, and I'm spoiler alert, where the season one where the pastor has this baby, and and you're like, no, no, because you think he's going to drown this baby, and you're like, no, no, I was just no, 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 like just like anyhow. But that's just it. You want to have a visceral response like that when you watch a show, and to be quite frank, if we switch to AI, all the humanity will be gone, and like I don't want people to be conditioned to watch robots and computer generated stuff because what's the point? I mean, the point for me, I think, is to connect as human beings and to experience and find a greater understanding, even in a essentially a horror movie like Final Destination. But it's all about family. It's all about bloodlines. It's all about keeping the family connected and surviving together. And so, yeah, if AI comes in, there's no family in AI. Come on, you know. Anyway, don't get me started.
Trust me, we would just ramble on about this for a while, man. So I think my main focus that I wanted to discuss with you today was your new Final Destination Bloodlines movie, which just opened theatrically on May 16th. So yeah, just share with us all about it since it's,
Well,
out in the public.
it's the
Yeah.
number one movie in North America, if not the world right now. I think it did $51 million at the box office domestically, and I think either North America or USA. I'm not sure. Probably North America. It's in like 3,500 theaters or something like this. It's just crazy. It's really cool to be part of something that's so broad reaching, And it's funny. I'll just show you this real quick on my phone. Uh, my wife and I were sitting here just talking this morning, watching the morning news, and here I'll just play a little bit for you. Hang on, just real quick.
All right, this weekend
Okay.
has been a busy one with multiple Warner Brothers movies becoming box office hits.
Uh,
Family,
oh, look who's there!
pick the one you get. You want the one you got. Final Destination Bloodlines topped the domestic box office charts, earning 51 million in ticket sales across Canada, the U.S. The film featuring Tony Todd and Caitlin Santawana released on Friday.
There you go.
Other hits this weekend
So
include
there you go. I mean, I'm on the local news. Come on, you know. No, but it's really neat though. It's neat, and since it's not an ego-based thing, it's just really cool because I mean, my mom told me I would put sock puppet plays on behind the couch when I was 3 years old for the other kids in the neighborhood. So I come by the entertainment industry or field pretty honestly. But to be in a movie that's like, and we opened at what I would call, the old, it's now TCL Chinese theater, but I knew it as a Grauman's Chinese theater as a kid growing up. And I stood in John Wayne's footprints. I put my hands in his hands, right? Bob Hope and just everybody, the old stars. And I grew up watching it, loved it. And
That
now
was
come
my
full.
parents. That was my parents'
Yeah.
generation, by the way. Yeah. for
Totally.
sure,
But
John Wayne.
we've come full circle in the sense of here I was years ago thinking, oh, it'd be so cool to be in the movies, and now I'm in a movie that played there. And actually, a friend of mine, Braden Langford, this director, he actually pointed out, hey, buddy, you were actually in a movie at the Chinese Theater a year ago. I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, because we did this independent feature called Blood Brothers, and it was in Cinema Six there. And I'm like, I totally forgot because I couldn't go down to it. I totally forgot. So I'm like, okay, now I've been in it twice and didn't even realize, almost a year apart. So. But yeah, it's come full circle, and it was a great experience, man. Like, have you go see them? Have you seen the movie yet?
The movie
Final
Final Des.
Destination. Yeah,
Oh,
six.
because I know it's still playing, but full transparency, I haven't really been going to the movies as often since COVID.
Right.
But the times that I do get to go with my family, I just always have a good time. Well, mainly just having a good time watching it with them. But yeah, I
Well,
just always have a good time regardless with family.
sure. Well, suffice to say, I mean, if you get a chance to go out and see it,
Yeah, I
it's a
will.
really
Yeah.
good film. No, but it's a really good film. That's all I'm saying. It's a good film. There's a lot of character development, right? The first half of the movie just about his
Mm.
character. Yes, action happens, etc. But as that action happens, there's flashback to the past and the present, and then you really get to care about the characters. So when the main characters start getting pursued by death, you're really right there with them, and you care. And I think that's the mark of the craftsmanship or craftspersonship of this movie between the writing, the directing, producing, acting, the lighting, crew, sound, everybody, costumes, makeup, incredible across the board. I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, and getting to play Uncle Howard Campbell in the movie,
Yeah.
like what was something that you've really learned the most about playing, your character and just the whole experience of getting to be a part of the franchise?
Well, I mean, it's a huge deal. Like it's a, multi-decade franchise,
Yeah.
and this film
Yep.
has really revived it, like brought total life back to it. Because this is the first movie in 14 years. But honestly, I'm really happy and proud to be part of it because honestly think it's some of the best acting I've done in a long time, in my career. Because it's very personal for me because it's all about family and keeping family together, and we all have, dysfunction and functional families to a degree. Well, I come from a little more dysfunctionally functional family, so there was a lot to identify with Howard here, how him trying to, a bit of a rough childhood upbringing, him and his sister Darlene, with the mother being so obsessed about death and cuckoo a little bit, what we thought was cuckoo, and then trying to keep the family together and the bond, because everything was pulling these people apart. So if you look at his house, it's in the nothing spoiler alert, it's in the trailer. You've got like a trampoline, giant Jenga, a bar there, big outside bar, barbecue pit, area, fun, other games for tossing and throwing. So he's made this beautiful sanctuary for his family so that he and his wife and his kids can enjoy life and build memories and come together. And that's the whole thing. It's like for this movie, I really identify because that's me. I'm really trying to keep my family together as fractured as it can be. Um, my greater, more extended family, we all live far apart now, et cetera. And now, it's just a matter of trying to keep them all together. And that's what Howard does. He just tries his whole thing in life is to bring everybody together and bond them together again and keep the Campbells and the Reyes together and
Yeah.
alive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely need to emphasize the alive part.
Mm,
Yeah, because I know that with a lot of movies, um, it's just really nice to see just a lot of so much just care and attention being put because I think it's no secret, like um we're kind of in a bit of a rut right now when it comes to mainstreaming and with a lot of the Hollywood productions right now, but I know we're starting to, since studios are opening back up, we've just kind of been, battling like we were talking about, like with AI, artificial intelligence, and just particularly with animation, with the industry right now, it's just been a nightmare to put it best. But I know that right now, like with a lot of artists, and for most of us, especially with the economy, it's just really nice to see people just coming together and just making these projects and just especially making them and making it come to fruition. Yeah, just bringing it to life. Yeah,
yeah.
and especially during a really, especially really time in
Mm.
showbiz right now. So it's
Well,
just really nice to see. Yeah,
yeah, this one was tough too because I
yeah,
mean, it faced all the development through COVID, this and that, and then
Hmm.
We had the actor strike and the writer strike and all that
Oh
push
my
it.
God. Yeah.
Because I was told I was on the short list and whatever else, and then it was like, oh well, now we have to wait till the strike. So that was another year later. I was like, oh my gosh, and I was really worried because it always when stuff like this happens, usually when projects are delayed or pushed back, then they go to somewhere else, they go to another country, or they do whatever because of budgetary concerns because it's been delayed. But it didn't happen with this one. And when they came back, I think it's when they came back, they asked, they said to show us the my audition scenes, if you like show me this one, some more takes on this one really poignant scene with my sister and I in the movie. And so I wasn't taking any chances. I went 6 ways to Sunday on it and gave him six completely diverse, different takes of the scene, like playing it like he's happy to be there, he's mad at her, he couldn't care less, he's sort of in between, or he just hated her, whatever. I did it all these different ways to show that, hey, listen, I can do whatever you need me to do. Because Zach and Adam knew me, mostly Zach, but Adam knew me too, and they knew I could act. I mean, if you look at my resume, like it's a tough thing too when you got like 170 something credits in a resume. I'm like, come on, look at my resume, look at my demo reel. You can see I can act, right? And that's a tough thing sometimes because still have to impress everybody else down in Los Angeles, et cetera, that may or may not know your body of work or who you are. And that's why getting in the room is always great because you get to talk to people and get to know each other. And then that way we build relationships. So suffice to say, I had to send all this in. They watched it. Everybody watched it. They all loved it. Everybody, including all the decision makers down in LA. And so I was great, great. You know, I got in the film and I was pleased as punch, like you wouldn't believe. And we went into rehearsal process. They let us rehearse the scenes and got together with all the family, doing the family scenes together for 2, 3 days, and that's a real rarity. Like rehearsal is a very real rarity these days. And we did improv and exploring, and then they incorporated some aspects of that into the script and the storyline, and things changed a little bit, but it all made it a much much stronger film, which is why I think the film is getting such a response is because it really is a personal film for a lot of people. As much as it's a franchise flagship film, it's very personal.
Yeah. And especially with like doing a lot of these heavy, tackling a lot of these really personal and real just stories. It's just kind of like something that we're starting to see more of. I mean, they've always been, around, but it's like we're starting to see a more accurate representation of how all these real world events came to be. Like, this is something that I actually wanted to also touch upon because you've not only have you been in feature films, but you've also done TV series. But something that really caught my interest, that really caught my eye, was it was you were on the 100th episode of The Outer Limits, where it was kind of a story that is based on the Holocaust. So this is kind of something that may or may not be. I'm not sure if it's something that I really touch upon on the podcast often because we kind of talk about, oh, like we just discussed like, showbiz and stuff like
Anything.
that. But I
Yeah.
kind of wanted to discuss about like, a very real tragedy. So
Sure.
I just wanted to know from you how it was, getting to play, such a really just
Horrific character.
make a horrific character. Just, a lot. I mean, you played like a lot of them, but just getting to
Uh,
play one that is based on like a big real world tragedy.
well,
It's like,
yeah,
yeah, just share a little bit about that.
sure.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I know the producer and showrunner Sam Egan and writer is a
Yeah.
friend of mine, and he knew my work from. Well, no, sorry. I met him first through The Outer Limits. That's right. So he wrote this episode, and it's a survivor story. It's his dad's survivor story out of Auschwitz. His dad, Leo Egan, who was 80, well, 84, I think 84 when I met him, 84 or 86 when I met him. And he lived after that at the Jewish Home for the Aged in Cedar, California. And I went to visit him once down there, but we maintained contact, and Sam and I. And anyhow, when it came up, I took it very seriously because it is a survivor story from the Holocaust, and it's something we should never repeat. Even though, look at Rwanda and the tragedy with Idi Amin and his regime, and ethnic cleansing has gone on all over the world, unfortunately, since then. But I felt the most about this because I really wanted to, you know, it's a piece of TV I'm most proud of because I want to make sure that we don't repeat the Holocaust on a world scale again, ever. So when I got the script, I read it, and it was just, oh, so gut-wrenching. And, this character I played, Karl Rademacher, the head commandant of Auschwitz, based on the real coming out of Auschwitz, and I had to come up with like what did I do? Like, how did this guy get to be where he is? Did he want to be where he is? And why? And so I wrote this huge backstory about him getting a bunch of high party Nazi officials' sons killed in a battle, and he was, assigned Auschwitz as like a punishment sort of thing, right? And I did all this backstory work so that when I came in to do the audition, I was fully filled because everything that's in my heart and soul, you'll see of my character, you'll see in my eyes and my performance. So when I did it, I went in and the reader, God bless her, she was looking down a lot, like reading opposite me, and I wanted some eye contact. And I brought in you dress to suggest in auditions, I do at least. And I had some jodhpurs on, like a little those riding pants, and some boots, and I had a riding crop with me. And I looked at her, and she wasn't looking at me, so I took the riding crop out like this and put it right under her chin, like that. And I lifted her face up into and I said. And I'm supposed to be looking down the rows of the prisoners freshly arrived, and I find a cute Jewish girl, and I go, I'll save you for more important things. Just really disturbing. So that, like, being truthful in the moment and stuff like that came up, and I think it's probably what got me the job was that little disturbing bit. But that's just it. Playing truthful moments, living truthfully under these imaginary circumstances, and the people watch, react, and feel, and have experiences. So for me, doing that was the most important thing I'd done because, and it still is to a big degree, because it does show what horrific inhumanity man does to man, and that we've got to stop it. And I think the justice that comes in the end, and no spoiler alert, because for those who haven't seen it, but uh, it's the ultimate revenge, whereas my older self gets transported back in time to the Auschwitz death camp, and my younger self kills my older self, which I think is marvelous. It's ultimate justice. So yeah, in real life, Sam's father, Leo, his first wife and child did not survive Auschwitz, and I know how they died, and it was horrible. And Leo told us stories on set that you couldn't show, you couldn't film, or you could, but no one would want to see it. Like, but and I just thought I've got to show this man's story and help be part of it. And yeah, it was so moving. Like when Leo first saw me, I know I'm going on here a bit, but forgive me. When Leo first saw me, I'll never forget. He was standing there, he turned and I came out in my full Nazi regalia, and a lot of it was vintage. It was collector items that we were borrowing. And I turned and he turned and looked at me and just went like, huh, like because he said to his son, he looks just like him. He looks just like him. And it was and I just about burst into tears, like seeing this guy's reaction, like, oh my God, like, yeah. And just the stories, like, oh, I can't even mention them here. I can't even tell you them here.
Like I said, it was just, I mean, just even reading and researching about this topic, it was like, oh my God, yeah. I don't know if you saw like it's the movie that Steven Spielberg did called Schindler's List,
Oh,
I think.
I was just gonna
Yeah,
say, if you look at Schindler's List, imagine Schindler's List like that and more. Like how could there be more? I mean,
yeah.
yeah, you can edit this out if you want. I'll tell you one piece. So his daughter was killed by a Nazi commandant, a Nazi officer who kicked her like a soccer ball. And when I heard that, oh, I just couldn't believe it. I was just like, geez, what are we doing here? Like, why are we here? We live in a world where somebody would do that to a child. Like even the Ozark thing, I just said I thought this guy was going to drown his child, his baby, and turns out he ends up blessing her or whatever. But anyway, or baptizing her. But it's just, yeah. Uh, so when I heard that, I was like, there's no way I'm not going to be part of this thing. And I went in there with guns a-blazing, like I gave them everything I had in the audition and got it. And then on the day of shooting, even still, when we had to shoot all this stuff, like, it affects you. Like, I went home and you got to chill out and you got to be alone a little bit because you're going to pretty dark places when you do something like that. And I saw this great documentary about the Jewish prisoners who were serving the officers, the German officers, like valets or valets or whatever, valets. in the death camps. And they said these guys, they took off their clothes and they were these pot-bellied, out of shape, regular people. But when they put that uniform on, they just transformed and they were this viscerally evil people, right? They became the monster. And that was part of it is all these layers of artifice that went on top of the Nazis and the Nazi party to distance themselves from their humanity so they could treat these people like cattle or worse.
What's really shocking about that movie, like Schindler's List, going back to it with Liam Neeson and just Spielberg, because it's like the same year, this dude also directed Jurassic Park. So going
Mhm.
from that to this is like, yeah, just shows just Spielberg's versatility as a director.
And
But
his range, his
it's just
range.
his range, exactly. So that's why I think that, when it comes to influential directors, Spielberg is like the one that is like the most versatile. Like he could just tackle something like as really tragic and dark, like, the war, and then going, and at the same time you have like dinosaurs or just like an alien, and then like, or people just having to take down this giant shark, and it's just
Yeah.
like it just really shows his versatility as a director. But I would go on about this, but I do have a few more questions before
Please
we
go, go,
have
go.
to wrap this
Forgive me
up.
if I'm forgive me if I'm
Sorry.
going too long. I apologize. Feel free to
No,
edit.
no, but these are unedited. These are these are raw, like Gordon Ramsay
Oh,
has would put
all
it,
right.
just completely raw. But yeah, and this is a raw conversation, so none of this is
Sure.
edited at all. So, um, you've also voiced a lot of different characters, like
Mhm.
going over your list. You've done a lot of Marvel stuff, in anime. So getting to have your dipping your feet into the world of like anime and voiceover, how would you say that that world is kind of like? Because I'm somebody who does
Right.
this, every day. So yeah, just gotta
Yeah.
ask quick.
It's a lot of fun. Like the first gig I ever booked in animation was the Roswell Conspiracies, and I played Nick Logan, bounty hunter, and we only went for one season, and it was unfortunate because the new Star Wars was coming out that year, and they couldn't get a toy deal. So because they couldn't get a toy deal, the show didn't take off, right? But it was imagine it's like Men in Black meets oh gosh, what is it? I had this before. Men in Black meets X-Files. So monsters of legend were real. They were actual aliens. So at the Roswell crash, excuse me, the Roswell crash were there were three werewolves on board, and so vampires, banshees, mummy, ghosts, they're all aliens. Anyway, that was my first gig, and I played Nick Logan, bounty hunter. Yeah, and he kind of had a voice like this. He looked like a jacked up, like Blade Runner, Harrison Ford's character from Blade Runner, and anyway, I thought there's no way I'm going to get this, so I did this sort of a young John Wayne. Yeah, yeah. He looks like Thoreau hasn't lost his taste for steak tartare. Whatever, and they loved it. So I ended up doing 40 episodes. It was crazy. First thing out of the gate, and I was like, wow. Then I didn't work for a while in animation because I found it just to be so overwhelming sometimes because it was just so crazy, like so busy and I don't know. It was almost too much because I came from a theater background. But that being said, then I got more into it later on and knew how to handle, aspects of the business. Like I found a lot of the personalities in the business were pretty like the big personalities and they were kind of overwhelming to a young guy out of college and university. So I got into it more and I've done like, Jurassic Park. I play, Vic Hoskins, bounty hunter or whatever. Not bounty hunter, the guy head of security, and it's just silly fun and I play Red Skull in the yeah in the Marvel animated Avengers and hello Captain America, good to see you again, stuff like that. But I've done The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, well-known anime movie, and I played the English version of it. And the amount of people have contacted me over that are crazy. Like it's just I find animation really allows you to explore and go places that you just don't get to go otherwise because it's animation, and the world of possibilities is incredible. So I find it really freeing a lot of times to do animation because it just lets you go.
Fortunately, I think this is all the time that we have here. But I
Oh,
do wanted to quickly bring up or just give a shout out to Patterson's Wager that you've
way too
produced.
long.
So just wanted to wish you congrats on winning 14 awards in Variety Mag. Like
Yeah,
that is insane. So just want to wish you give my hats off to you on
sure.
that. So where can people or like any last bit of like
Yeah,
farewell or something
sure.
like that,
Well,
or where can you
check,
check out? Yeah.
Yeah, check out Patterson's Wager. I think it's on Vimeo and other formats, but Patterson's Wager, check it out. It's about a young man, or young man, guy in his 30s who suddenly discovers he has the ability to see 2 minutes into the future. And it happens totally at random. He has no control over it. And it's about all the how the implications cascade through his relationships. Plus, there's a bit of a Sasquatch aspect to it, which I know I would give too much away. Anyway, it's a really good personal film. Well done. My buddy Corbin Selikin wrote it and produced it and directed it, and I produced it and acted in it. Gary Chalk is in it, who played Optimus Prime. Amazing guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gary. Yeah.
good friend of mine. He's give a shout out to Gary. He's battling cancer right now, so he's going his last chemo treatment. I think today or tomorrow. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Praying for
fingers
him.
crossed. But
Yeah.
that it's a great thing. And in terms of like movies and acting and this film, seriously, it's almost like it's a culmination of 30 years of work and effort to be in something this big and whatever. And it's not about an ego thing. It's just about to touch people and to get out there. And because I'm fairly well known in the sci-fi genre, because I did Stargate, I played more characters than anybody else ever has in Stargate, and I played all those aliens and whatever. But that had a big audience. But this Final Destination audience, it's worldwide and it's huge. And it's just kind of neat to know that, hey, someone in like Shanghai is watching me, or my cousins in Auckland are going to see me, or someone in the Ukraine in between the fighting is going to go to a movie and check me out. And I'd love to hear what I sound like in Ukrainian, because I'm half Ukrainian on my dad's side. So I'd love to hear. We never learned, real quick, I know we have a minute left. We never learned to speak Ukrainian because my mom was English, Canadian. And so all my cousins did. My cousins were fluent in Ukrainian and English, but they all taught me the swear words. So I almost got in trouble, like all the time.
Because on that note, thank you so much, Alex, for your time. It's been so much
Hey, you're
fun
welcome.
getting to chat with you. Who knows if we'll do a follow-up, like a part two, just discussing more of your projects and all, whatnot. But until then,
Oh,
thank you all. Oh, is it-
real quick, I'm in. You can check me out in School Spirits as well, a show with Peyton List,
God,
and Milo Manheim. It's about a young woman who passes away into school, and her ghost, her spirit, investigates her death. Check it out. It's on Paramount Plus. The third season starts filming this summer, and
okay.
I play Principal Hartman. Funny, I'm Principal Hartman, and I'm also Uncle Howard, the two H's. I don't
Oh
know.
my God. Yeah. But yeah, check those out. And thank you for watching Station Square. See y'all next time. Have a great summertime and live long and prosper. Ooh, Star Trek. Bye.
How much?